Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. It is gonna be a kind of chilly, dreary, rainy Friday. Currently 39 degrees, high of only around 43, and rain likely. I don't know, something like 60% chance all day into tomorrow. 5:11 is the sunrise, and 8:19, excuse me, is the sunset. And as it is on Friday, just pray. I do that we all make it to a church, a Bible preaching church, which, by the way, the enemy does not want. And you know, if it's like this for you at your house as it is mine, sometimes it's difficult to get out to church with the kids, and maybe you wake up extra tired. I don't know, but you've got to um, determine it, right? Be pointed in it, right? Be pointed, like it's gonna happen, and you do it no matter what. And I'm there, we're there, seemingly every Sunday, right? Every Sunday, the enemy, things pick up, okay? And you just gotta do it, right? You just gotta do it. You gotta pray um, through it and do it. Pray through it and do it. Um, you know, it's not enough to try. Like we have to do it. Okay, we have to do it, and it's in that it's battling back against the enemy. It's a spiritual battle, you guys, and that this is one of our um, biggest defenses, but also our biggest offenses against the enemy and pushing him back, y'all. And it's where we gather together, it's where we come together, where we encourage each other, where we, uh, what is it, rebuke, and exhort through the word that is preached. Please, and it's got to be a Bible preaching church, y'all. You've got to sit under the preaching of the word of God and let the word um, impact and inspire and separate your spirit and your heart from sin, right? Y'all, it's and it, you know, it is our biggest defense and offense, if one of, right? Our biggest is your daily, I believe, your daily walk of the sharpening, right? Of the sharpening of your sword, right? In the scriptures every single day. Um, that's for me, anyway. My my most relied upon uh, defense and offense against Satan, and I'm thankful to be able to share it. Right, I'm thankful to be able to share it. So here we are in Esther. We're in Esther, and we're gonna get into chapter 2. And so um, we're we we see that Azarus, also known as Xerxes, he throws his party. He's doing his thing, right? He's growing his kingdom, and he's um, getting buy-in, right? He's getting buy-in and creating a culture um, amongst the leadership, and he he decides he has to create a royal decree uh, about the women because of the example that Vashti sets by denying to come when he calls her. And so he sends, this is chapter 1, verse 22, he sent letters to all the provinces, to every province in its own script. That's how big of uh, uh, a kingdom he has, right? Like he's got to write his decrees in all these different languages in their own script so that the people under his authority can understand the ordinances, right? Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Um, and in its own language, that every man be master in his own household and speak according to the language of his people. So then, after these things, now we're into chapter 2. The king finally calmed down, and he starts to think about Vashti. I mean, remember, she was beautiful, right? And his decree against her. And so the people around him, his young men who attended him, they said this. This is chapter 2, verse 2. Let beautiful young virgins be sought out for the king. Okay? Notice beautiful young virgins out of every province, right? Out of every province. Now, again, this is a unifying tactic, right? A unifying tactic. Another way to assimilate all the people into the Persian, not just the empire, right? Not just under his rule, but the culture, right? The Persian culture. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom and gather together beautiful young virgins to the harem in Shusha the citadel under custody of Haggai, the king's eunuch, who is in charge of the women. Let their cosmetics be given them. So for these young virgins, beautiful young virgins, this is going to be an opportunity of a lifetime. It's an opportunity to get into the palace, to be part of the king's gaggle of women, right? His flock, and be made up, right? Be dressed up, be cleaned up, be, taken out of, and maybe, not all of them, I would, didn't have to have bad lives, but they could have been brought out of poverty, right, into the king's harem. And what would you do for that? What would you do for that? Would they remain virgins? Would they, would they have to give up their God? Would they have to give up their soul? So if we keep relating these events as we have to the current culture and the Diddy party, the women, the woman that he had with him, he brought in very young. He made her up, got her the plastic surgery, right? The augmentations, very beautiful. Had to participate in all these things. Essentially, had to give up her soul for this lifestyle, for this life that she had, and now she's the main testimony against Puff, against P-diddy, and and I would think that in the beginning it was kind of like this: come be part of my gaggle. I'll make you up. I'll give you the cosmetics. You'll walk around in the king's garb, right? In as a princess, and you'll get to live in the palace, right? And she did. So in the young women, and let the young women who pleases the king be brought, be queen. Oh, excuse me. And let the young woman who pleases the king be queen instead of Vashti. This pleased the king, and he did so. This pleased the king, and he did so. Now, in Puff's case, he had a previous queen. He did, and he had children by her, and he kicked her aside, or maybe she kicked him aside, and brought in the Cassie lady, who is uh, the one that he made up and took and you know gave the cosmetics to, and who is testifying against him, not his first queen. Um, and maybe she refused to do what he said. I don't know that. I I'm pretty sure why, because I think the scriptures reveal uh, they reveal things about life, and there's nothing new under the sun, y'all. There's nothing new under the sun, and so I would say it's highly likely. Now, there was a Jew in Shusha, the citadel, whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, son of Shimei, son of Kish, the Benjaminite. So Mordecai was from the tribe of Benjamin. He was carried away from Jerusalem among the captives, carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah. Now, he was carried away. It's talking about Kish, the last one mentioned in the list here. So that'd be his great grandfather, right? Father, grandfather, great grandfather. Okay, and that was essentially 100 and something years, 115 or so years prior to this. So Jeconiah or Jehoiachin, 2 Kings 24. That's where Nebuchadnezzar carries him away, and also the gold and the temple artifacts, right? All that gone, carried away by the king of Babylon. All right, and so Mordecai, he brings up Hadassah. Also, so that is Esther's Jewish name, Hebrew name, and that means myrtle. And just doing a little bit of looking up, the only thing I can find myrtle, it's a kind of a pretty shrub, a pretty flower with like a blue, white or blue, light blue blossom. Okay, so it was beautiful, beautiful. And her Persian name, it says that is Esther, which means star, right? So this, the beauty of Esther, even in her peasant appearance, it was far above, right? Far above everything. And the thing about a star is, think about going back to Genesis. What does it do, right? It's a light in the darkness, right? It's also a guide to give us directions, right? Because you think about sailing and navigating the water. It's done by the stars, okay? Done by the stars. So her light and her ability to guide and direct is all wrapped up in that name. Make no mistake about it, guys. Each and every one of your names was given by God's providence. Yes, your parents named you, but God's hand was on that. All of our names have a meaning to God. He knew us before we were born. He knew us before he even started creating on the first day. He knew. Okay? He knew. The daughter of his uncle, for she had neither father nor mother. The young woman had a beautiful figure and was lovely to look at. And when her father and her mother died, Mordecai took her as her own daughter. So her cousin Mordecai took her in as her own daughter. And the young woman pleased him and won his favor. That's the king. Okay, pleased him and won his favor. And he quickly provided her with cosmetics and her portion of food, and with 7 chosen young women from the king's palace, and advanced her and her young women to be to the best place in the harem. Excuse me. So that there's Haggai, the one who takes care of the women, is getting them all ready and putting them in their place for the king. And so, don't underestimate the way God uses um, leadership, the way God uses kings, the way God uses servants like Haggai, and how even the non-believing power structure, infrastructure is used for the sovereign will, for God's plan for us going forward, and how He puts things together, because it's all under His providence. And Haggai, he these things, these circumstances put in place where she's so beautiful. Maybe he has a choice, maybe he doesn't. Um, but either way, it's God's providence working these things out, right? God's providence working these things out. And I would say the same applies for this Puff Daddy situation and Cassie, the woman who he brought in and cosmeticked up and became the lead of the harem, so to speak, who is now testifying against him. All these things are, God's plan for something, right? And hopefully His glory is revealed through this situation. That's the prayer, y'all. In this terrible situation, after all this stuff comes out, that Soli Deo Gloria. To God be the glory alone. Have a great Friday, y'all. Get to church.